Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. And we have here today 2008 Mercedes R. I think this thing is a 320 CDI. But I'm sure this will apply even to the gasoline versions of this car. I know this car is pretty old. I believe it's disappearing off the streets, and you won't even find it in the junkyards anymore. But I still wanted to make this video. This may be applicable to some of the other SUVs the Mercedes made from those years. But the car came with no electricity. It was starting in the beginning, but you couldn't move it out of gear, and all the lights were blinking, flashing, the dash, the cluster was flashing. It's just a bunch of other crazy things. So as you can see, the first thing I believe what happened is the owner actually tried to do some crazy stuff with these really bad, cheap, I even think that these are used batteries that they did. And there's some water there too. I don't know where that water came from on this side, but I have the front part of this passenger side open because the front SAM is right there. It's that black box right there. It's just attached to the wall actually, because I was trying to check if there's any problem there. But the main starting point for me was that I could not actually get a signal from the OBD to connect our scanner. And when I went to our program, OData is what we use, and some other sources if we can't find stuff on OData. But the schematic on Mercedes, which I'll show you in a second. So this is the diagram that I'm trying to show you, and basically this is how this network works. You have the computer scanner going to the OBD, and then the connection goes to this N93 Mercedes designation, which that is the actual right here, central gateway control unit. And central gateway, the signal goes from that point to the ECU, and it has communication to the cluster. Also, the central gateway in the bigger schematics that I investigated had the actual connections, a lot of wiring or connections, CAN communications to pretty much almost all the modules in the car, including the front SAM, the rear SAM, and a bunch of other ones. The EIS, which is the electronic ignition switch, which is the key, and the transmission also. So that way all the symptoms of this car not having an OBD signal, didn't have the cluster signal. The car actually ran in the beginning, but we couldn't shut it off at some point. So all of these were pointing that actually I need to try to find that central gateway unit or module. And I checked the front SAM on that side, and there was nothing wrong with that front SAM. There's a couple modules on that side too that you can open. There's this plate here. It sits underneath, but these are the modules that you can check right here. And there was nothing wrong on this side. I believe there's some modules back there. They're on the right side too. Yeah, I also checked all of these fuses here, and also checked the fuses in the front right passenger side of the engine. Everything was fine. So at the end, looking for maybe a problem for the headlights. I was just trying to catch a direction that I can start. At the end, I ended up trying to find the central gateway because of that schematic that I just showed you. And when I opened this carpet here, it turned out that this is just covered with water. You're not gonna see it because it's consumed with water, and there was some water down there too. As you can see, it has some wetness there, and here my fingers are wet too now. So this is completely covered in water. For some reason the top is kind of actually dry, but the foam part is just it's consumed with water. Here we go. Yeah, this is just crazy. So the central gateway is actually right here, and we ordered this new part from Mercedes because the customer wants to try to fix this car, and this is the old unit that I got out, and as you can see, it has been flooded and rusted. That's completely unusable. This is the original part number, and this is the new part number here, OEM unit, and I believe this is a new part that supersedes this part number. Yeah, it's their different part numbers. And being wet, damaged, these wires had some problems too. I managed to clean them up. Couple wires came out on the bottom, so I had to re-weld them to the plug and install it again. So at this point, actually, I just got everything back together, and we managed to get a signal to the scanner, and I managed to start the car. So this is the whole diagnostic on this car. Actually, at this point, I was told, I asked a couple people who know these cars, and they told me that sometimes even on the E-classes, there's a problem that condensation from the air conditioning actually flows down here, and it floods these two parts, I guess the passenger and driver side of these cars. And again, here we go. The car starts, and most importantly, I can actually get it in gear. I have the battery light because I have jump boxes, and actually I have a charger jump box on the outside because these cars consume a lot of electricity, and we need to order a brand new battery for this car. And at this point, this is how this truck is fixed. Yes, there are other codes like all of these, but right now I'm not gonna worry about these. The car runs. Actually, some of these codes had up to 10 or 15, 20 codes DTC, so I erased a lot of codes. So at this point, this is gonna be the way it is. And the diesel has a couple of things, but they're specific for diesels. It has a EGR something positioner. I'm not worried about it. And diesel particulate filter soot content is too high for regeneration, which means the catalytic converter is done. But there is no emissions test here in Georgia, so I guess the person is not going to worry about it. And yeah, all of these other ones at this point, I believe if everything is working right, which we're going to try to see when we test drive the car, we should be okay. Auxiliary battery is faulty. Okay, so we have a problem with the main battery and the auxiliary battery. That's actually right there. It's right there next in the front part of this. So I'm gonna have to replace the two batteries. And rear SAM, I'm not worried about this. Yeah, okay, so pretty much almost, I want to say almost everything is fixed to the point where this client can actually drive the car after we get the two batteries. So this is the diagnostic. I hope it helps you guys if you have these crazy problems with these cars. Look for flooding, and the symptoms are car wouldn't start or it will start, And if you see these crazy flashing lights, they're not flashing but slowly like coming on and off randomly. The fan would come on kind of at high speeds also, and actually we couldn't get into gear. That was another crazy thing. And then at some point we couldn't even shut it off. But the main thing is try to look for, of course, the OBD connector there, the scanner. You can plug it up and see if you have a signal. If you don't have a signal on the OBD, then for sure you need to start with the central gateway, because that is what supplies the electricity and the connection to this OBD. And you start from there and you look for that central gateway module in your car. Okay, well, I hope you guys can get some help from this video and fix your problems, and I'll see you in the next video. And again, thanks for watching. Please like my videos and please subscribe, and thanks a lot.